Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the 10 days international conference on social work, social sciences, technologies, environment, climate change, disaster management, health, well-being, and sustainable development, 2023. On the occasion of National Social Work Week 2023, which is celebrated from 15th August till 22nd August, 21st August 2023, commemorating 4th National Social Work Week, we are organizing 10 days international conference on social work, social sciences, technologies, environment, climate change, disaster management, health, well-being, and sustainable development 2023 for 10 days starting from 13th August 2023 from today onwards till Tuesday 22nd August 2023. So daily the sessions will be starting from 6 p.m. onwards with the presentation of past and upcoming events of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing, and continued by the invited guest presentations along with other paper presentations on each day. The schedule day-wise will be updated on the website. You can check website from time to time. As part of the 10 days international conference, we have invited paper presentations and participation from social work fraternity across the world to join us on this occasion and for the presentations. So we have registered almost there were 200 plus registrations for the international conference from across the world, and we have few paper presentations as well registered for the conference. So we request everyone, those who have registered and completed formalities for the paper presentations and have chosen tentative dates and can join on that day, particular day, and share your details in the chat box in Zoom platform to the admin, to the host, so that your presence is recognized and you will be called at appropriate time. And those who are willing to present on any day after on-spot registration, because on-spot registrations are available from yesterday onwards. Till yesterday, regular registrations were there. And from today, from yesterday onwards, there are on-spot registrations which are happening with the same procedures. And those who are willing to present, after completing on-spot registrations, have to complete all the formalities, then call the coordinator and confirm your completion of formalities and be prepared for the presentation. So due to paucity of time, as we have limited time every day, we request all the speakers not to wait till last day and try to complete your formalities and make presentations as early as possible. The first preference will be given to the invited speakers, if any, then for the paper presentations, and lastly, to the on-spot registration presenters, those who have registered but not yet scheduled. So you can join daily and accordingly present your papers. So certificates will be issued on a day-to-day basis. So for all the 10 days on each day, based on your attendance and feedback, you will be issued certificates on a daily basis, that is day-to-day basis. So the formalities for this e-certificate is, first you have to register for both presenters and participants. You have to register and then participate and then provide feedback and also overall feedback, which will be taken in the Zoom platform in the form of polls, so that you can be eligible for the e-certificate. All the e-certificates can be downloaded from the conference website. We'll also be sending an email, but most of the time, participants, presenters are not checking their emails, and sometimes there is a possibility of email landing in spam box or junk mail or at some other place where you frequently do not look up. So anyway, for that reason, we are alternatively providing all the certificates on the website. Those who are opted for the certificates and those who are eligible for the certificates and completed formalities, they can download their certificates from the website after completion of 1 week of closure of conference. So after the conference, we'll consolidate all the registrations, because registration will be open till last day of the conference, so that you can register and participate. Even if someone is attending, registering on the last day and attending, they will be getting only the last day participation certificate. So all the certificates will be issued after closure of this conference, after consolidating all the registration data, attendance, feedback, and based on the formalities, the certificates will be generated automatically. So we request everyone, those who are joining for presentations and participation, to set your Zoom username to actual name or the name as you have registered in the registration forms, so that it is easy for the Zoom to track the attendance. And it can be automatically mapped to your registration data, attendance, and feedback, so that certificate can be generated automatically. And presentations will be taken up every day from 6:30 p.m. onwards. 6 to 6:30 p.m. we'll be having the presentation of upcoming and previous programs, so that you can, those who are joining newly or for the first time, they are aware about the organization and glimpses of few events which were organized earlier. And apart from that, of course, these are not complete list of participants or presenters or the events. It's randomly picked up few events which are presented in the presentation in the very first half hour, 30 minutes. Then we'll move on to the presentations by the participants, invited guests, speakers, or panelists. As part of the themes, as part of the conference, various themes have been set on which we have invited various papers on social work, social sciences, technologies related to any of these themes like social work, social sciences, or environment, climate change, disaster management, health, well-being, and sustainable development, and any related topics or themes can be presented. As sustainable development is an umbrella term, so you can present any topic, as these conferences are multidisciplinary, multicultural, multilingual, and interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So you can present in your own language in any of the major Indian languages and English language. And if you are presenting any other language, in any other language other than English, you need to have a transcribed document in English along with your language of presentations in advance, so that we can share with the participants, because most of the participants are from across the world. So we should be aware and conscious of such efforts that it is reaching to all the participants. So whenever you are presenting in your own language, kindly ensure that you share the transcription of the entire paper or the presentation in English language as well, so that it can be shared with the participants, so that they can be familiar in the universal language, or the language which is most commonly used, at least on the international platforms. And those who are willing to present, you can complete your formalities and you can share once you join the conference on daily basis. So as and when your slot is scheduled, your session is scheduled, or as and when there is some time available, we will invite you for your presentation. So hope all the instructions are clear. So for conducting the conference smoothly, all the videos of each participant as well as the audio will be muted by default. Only in the Q&A session, the mics will be unmuted and participants will be permitted to share their feedback, queries, clarifications, or any additions, any observations on these sessions. Any queries related to the conference, you can ask in the presentation Q&A after the presentation, or after the last session, you may ask any other clarifications regarding the conference. So do not ask any questions in between, or do not ask any questions which are not related to presentation when the speaker is handling their sessions and Q&A for their session. So it will cause inconvenience, and also others will lose the opportunity for getting their queries clarified and also sharing their observations and feedback. So we will adhere to the instructions so that we shall all together conduct the sessions smoothly. So all these instructions are available on the website in detail. So you can visit our website and check all the details over there at your convenience. So today, before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
The blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. So presenters who are waiting for their presentations can share their details to the host as and when they join the conference. So with the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's first day. of 10 Days International Conference. Today, we'll look at in detail about social work history, how it has emerged over a period of time. The social work profession as a profession, as an academic discipline, varies in timeline across the world, and in different countries we see the status of social work as an academic discipline, as a profession, varies from country to country. And still, some countries do not recognize social work either as an academic discipline or as a profession due to lack of social work departments or social work as a recognition, as a subject or a discipline in some of the countries. Though basically the social work profession was originated in the form of charity, in the form of philanthropy, in the form of social service, where the roots of social work has been laid, and the ideology of the social work started from the charity or the philanthropy. With the advent of World War, there were a lot of issues across the world, increasing poverty, underdeveloped economies, low-income countries, and middle-income countries who were working for their survival, livelihood, human rights, gender equality, empowerment, and some of them, or we can say many of them, were struggling with basic food, clothing, shelter, education, employment. And world wars have brought various kinds of challenges and issues across the world, especially the countries which has participated in the wars directly or indirectly. Social work as a discipline or as an occupation, as a professional course or a status, has been achieved by 19th century. So by 1920, social workers could be found in the public domains like hospitals, rehabilitation centers, child welfare agencies, family agencies, and in communities which are focused on the community development, child development, women development, and various aspects of development. There were a lot of funding, philanthropic activities which were happening, but not in a consolidated manner, because of which there were efforts to consolidate, conceptualize, and make efforts to bring them so that they can be used in a systemic and scientific way to empower people and large population. So as a result, various social work methods were conceptualized, expanding social work education programs, and also developing strategies, teaching learning materials, institutions which started imparting social work education programs, and also to develop a strong funding base for various philanthropic, voluntary, social welfare, social service programs, and coordinate and implement various such programs. Social work seemed to be a right strategy, a right profession, which also helped to gain social work professional status and social workers as professionals in early 19th century. The Great Depression and the World War II focused on various challenges, aftermath of this Great Depression and also World War, which has created a great demand and also the attention of community workers, social workers, as there were many challenges due to aftermath of Great Depression and World War. Here, the physical health, mental health, psychological health, emotional health, social health, financial health of the individual, of the society, of the nation has been attention for various professionals. And the mental health has become more important for veterans, for the army men and women, and especially for the general public. And thus, the more focus was in providing various services like mental health services along with physical and social health services and along with social welfare programs. As and when required, rehabilitation programs were launched, and accordingly, social workers found their place in the rehabilitation process. And also, to address the problem of low-income countries and especially eradication of poverty, the number of social workers and their influence on various social policies, social development has been and significant impact, has created a significant impact on social policy through advocacy and through research and also through social action. So by late 19th century and the early 20th century, social work has gained status as an occupation and as a profession. The 1930 census classified social work as a profession for the first time, and social work began as one of the several attempts to address the social issues, increasing poverty, and various other issues. Though initially, social workers' prime focus was on poverty, on alleviating poverty, but that was not a single folded approach. There were multitude issues or multiple approaches to prevent, eradicate, and minimize the poverty. Because the causes of poverty were multifold, and thus social workers had to focus on various other underlying issues and causative factors so that they can address this poverty effectively. In the West, by 21st century, social work was licensed in all 50 states in US, and the number of social workers have grown even as a social work profession influenced on various policies and programs. And the expansion of global markets with the industrialization, globalization, privatization, the world became a global village. And world trade has opened up the avenues for the international trade, both positively and negatively impacting various countries. Some countries benefited, and some countries has become a dumping nations for the one, especially for the developed nations. And there were few countries which were taking both the benefits and also challenges, which were dependent on the number of products and services they were exporting and importing. Either they were producing or consuming. And apart from poverty, there were other issues like unemployment, overpopulation, underutilization of resources, wastage of natural resources, and technology, especially outdated technology, which were not effective in utilizing the resources effectively to the fullest. And also due to digital divide and also economical divide between the people, which made the resources not easily accessible and affordable. And apart from that, initially in the 19th century, even the United States remained a predominantly rural society, and big cities had seen the urban poor and also various activities that has caused the disruption to the rural area and also the urban population. And various issues have come up with such urban establishments like large urban cities, like rapid industrialization, and the reforms that were taken up, and various measures that were put for protecting the workers and also to prevent slavery and also to protect children from slavery and bonded labor, and also various reforms were required for women and various vulnerable population, including disabled population. So various reforms were brought and various changes were also brought into the policy to protect, to address these issues. And in 19th century, boards of charity composed of prominent citizens who served without pay attempted to rationalize state residential instructions created before the Civil War, and rational administration meant careful budgeting, civil service rules, and the collection of data and performance of state instructions. Board members visited and inspected state institutions like mental hospitals, prisons, orphanages, and schools for persons with variety of disabilities, and made recommendations for more efficient management. And beginning with Mashards in 1862, the most states established Board of Charities during the last third of the 19th century, and most boards had an advisory function, while others, usually called boards of control, has administrative oversight over state instructions. And with the advent of large cities, child protection movements, have emerged and started and sought to improve the lives of orphans and poor and vulnerable children. By the turn of the century, reformers contemplated a mixed system of care for dependent children involving both public and private institutions, community development, community rehabilitation, community placement, as well as institutional care and policy level and legislation interventions, including formulating policies, social policies, and also bringing out laws regulating or prohibiting child labor, and also promoting elementary and primary education for the children. So in the West, two institutions were created that would be formative in creating a new occupation to provide assistance to the poor, especially in the large American cities, beginning with Buffalo in 1877, established charity organization societies, modeled on the London Charity Organization Society, emphasized a controlled form of love extended to the poor. An organization of voluntary charities rather than a provider of direct material assistance, the COS organized a city's voluntary relief associations on a rational basis. So district agents paid COS employees, interviewed applicants for relief, determined appropriate assistance, and arranged for friendly visits by volunteers. By 1890s, however, paid employees had supplanted volunteers, and COs also became increasingly active in environmental work. In 1898, the New York COS established the Summer School of Applied Philanthropy, which later became the New York School of Philanthropy in 1904. The school was renamed the New York School of Social Work in 1919 and became part of Columbia University in 1940, becoming the Columbia University School of Social Work in 1960. And because of lot of migration, immigration, and settlements, settlement houses also based on English model were established in large cities in United States during 1880s. Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr founded Chicago's Hull's House, the most famous settlement in the United States, in 1889. After a visit to London's Toynbee Hall, the first settlement house, settlement workers were middle class and affluent volunteers who settled in the immigrant districts of large cities. The settlements provided a vital service, Adams, both for the volunteer residents who needed a purpose in life and for the society at large by building need bridges between the classes in an increasingly stratified and fragmented society. So members of the existing state boards of charities began to meet in 1874 as a section of the American Social Science Association. In 1879, the group formed its own organization, the Conference of Boards of Public Charities, which became the National Conference of Charities and Correction in 1880, and the National Conference of Social Work in 1970. Although the conference was initially an annual gathering of the members of the state boards, child savers, COS workers, settlement house residents, and many others interested in the social work became active in the organization. For much of the 20th century, the National Conference was a major meeting place for the social workers. Schools of charity or philanthropy in 5 cities provided training to members of new occupation. Although the methods to be used by the new occupation were hardly defined, the emerging methods and the techniques were applied to new populations in the new settings. The decade also saw the beginnings of investment in the new occupation with the founding of Russell Sage Foundation in 1907. The foundation supported the development of profession of social work and career COS Administrator Mary Richmond joined the new Russell Sage Foundation in 1908 as the director of its charity organization department. McLean worked with COS organizations to form a new national organization, the National Association of Societies for Organizing Charity, in 1911. Richmond worked to develop the conceptual base for social casework, which would become the primary method for social work practice with individuals and families. The foundation published Richmond Social Diagnosis in 1970, which quickly became an authoritative text. In 1919, the National Association of Societies for Organizing Charity changed its name to the American Association for Organizing Family Social Work, and in 1930 to the Family Welfare Association of America. World War I, the United States' first European war, resulted in an expansion of the social work profession, both in numbers and in scope. The Red Cross Home Service provided linkage between soldiers and their families. Mary Richmond trained Red Cross Home Service workers who provided social casework services to the rural and small town families for the first time, and other war-related charities also expanded, as did the Army Medical Corps. Faced with a variety of psychological and neurological problems, the Army used social workers, many of whom were Red Cross personnel detailed to Army units in the field. Smith College established its School of Social Work in 1918 as a wartime measure. Graduates provided services to soldiers and veterans suffering from shell shock and other psychiatric disabilities. The war also resulted in an increase in social planning. Social worker Mary Van Cleer temporarily left the Russell Sage Foundation to help set up the Women in Industry Service in the US Department of Labor. Before World War I, most social work agencies had survived by soliciting subscriptions and contributions from wealthy donors. Such financing was often unreliable, and fluctuations in agency budgets were not unusual. During World War I, a war chest raised money for war-related charities in many American cities. After the war, these war chests were converted to community chests, Local agencies raise money for the community social work agencies, usually through an annual campaign that solicited funds from the middle class and also working people, as well as the wealthy. So public social services has expanded enough by 1923 that a prominent social welfare administrator could write about a transformation from charities and correction to public welfare. So most professional social work, however, was practiced in voluntary agencies. Social workers did practice in some correctional agencies, particularly in juvenile corrections and in law enforcement during the 1920s, along with state hospitals and outpatient programs employing social workers. By the end of the decade, voluntary social work had a stable financial base. Social workers has created a number of professional organizations, and public social services has expanded. In 1929, presidential address to the National Conference of social work educator Porter R. Lee could say that social work, once a cause, had become a function of a well-ordered society. The project of professionalization now seemed complete, although Lee worried about how to maintain zeal in increasingly routine profession. The 1930 census, which classified social worker as a profession for the first time, enumerated over 30,000 social workers in the United States, but only 5,600 of them were members of American Association of Social Workers, the largest professional organization of social workers, as per Walker, 1933. Although the social work education, profession, practice seem fragmented and scattered, a number of organizations of practitioners, educators are trying to work together on inter-organizational projects to promote social work education, research, and to focus the profession's political advocacy activities. The number of social work education programs at bachelor's level and master's level also grew during the last decade of 20th century. In the early 21st century, by 2017, there were 773 accredited social work education programs in the United States, including 518 baccalaureate programs to 84 doctoral programs. Over 8 lakh people in the United States identified themselves as social workers. However, many of these or those employed as social workers were not professionally educated. Of course, 4 lakh licensed social workers, let them less than half of them belong to National Association of Social Workers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics predicted that the number of social work professions or positions would increase more rapidly than the average for all occupations, particularly as the population aged by the end of 21st century. Social workers were uncertain about the profession mission and is relating to the welfare state. Along with social work education, social work practice is also important. It is through social work practice the means of achieving the professions is possible. Social work practice address various political, social, cultural, economical factors in shaping the assumptions of practice, the problems that practice must deal with, and preferred outcomes of a practice. Over time, the base forces that created practice and created the context for practice change. Midley correctly notes that the practice created in one social order is often inappropriate for the work in another social order. Since the social order changes over time, practice created at one point in the time may no longer be appropriate in another time or in future. So we'll look into detail tomorrow. Now we'll move on to our presentations. Presenters who are ready with their presentations can share your details in chat box so that we can invite you. We request everyone to fill the feedback form for session 1, which has been raised in the form of polls. Dear friends, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form for session 1. The first presentation would be by Ghislaine L. Horry on microservices scheduling algorithm from National School of Computer Sciences and System Analysis, Mohammed V. University, from Rabat, Morocco. Ghislaine, you be prepared for your presentation. Once the feedback form is closed, you'll be provided the permissions to share your PPT. Anyone else would like to make presentations? Those who have completed your formalities can share your details in the chat box. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. The feedback form will be available only for 5 minutes once it is launched. So we request everyone to quickly respond and submit your feedback for each session. After submitting the feedback, don't leave. Kindly stay back. There will be one more feedback form at the end of the sessions, which is mandatory. That will be the overall feedback form for the day. So kindly stay back. Ghislaine, now you can proceed with your presentation. You can start your audio and video and start sharing your presentation. Ghislaine L. Hori, can unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody.
You can also start your video.
Sorry, I didn't hear you well.
You can start your video so that we can see you.
A video. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I can begin.
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sorry?
You can introduce yourself and start your presentation.
Yes, of course, thank you. So my name is Rizdan El-Houri. I'm a PhD student in National School of Computer Science and Systems Analysis Mohammed V University in Rabat, Morocco. So today I'm going to present the topic that I'm working on. So it is about microservices scheduling algorithms. So I will move on. First of all, thank you for this opportunity for providing me for presenting my topic. First, I will introduce the agenda. So we will begin by an introduction, then microservices definition and concepts, and then scheduling algorithms, and finally a conclusion. As for the introduction, the creation of large and complex applications have led to some difficulties in managing this application. Therefore, the researchers come up with a better solution to manage it from one large system into a combination of small services that work together in cohesive way for a widely used application where it can be easy to deploy, configure, and scale. So right now we are going to see what's microservices, what is microservices, or what are microservices and their concepts. So what are microservices? We have a page, a web page. So a client wants, for instance, wants to make shopping or want to see news, for example. So he click on a button. Behind this button, there is microservices. So each task behind it a microservice. So here we are going to see what was before that microservices. What was before microservices? It was monolithic architecture. It is implemented as one large system, and it shares the same database, which will lead to many problems in terms of management and the redeployment of the whole application. And then the researchers come up with microservices architecture, which consists of independent and interconnected services. Each microservice is self-contained and implements a specific service capability. For each microservice, it has in itself such layers as presentation, business, logic, and data layer. As for data layer, as for presentation layer, it sends content to the browser in form of HTML, JS, or CSS. For application or business layer, it uses an application server and process the business logic for the application. And finally, for the data layer, it's a database management system that provides access to application data. So what is scheduling algorithms? First of all, we are going to see the definition of scheduling. It is the mechanism that is used to select the suitable resource, CPU, memory, and bandwidth to execute tasks to have less waiting and executing time. In cloud computing, the task scheduling go through 3 levels. So in here, the first level is the tasks, is a set of tasks that is sent by cloud users which are required for execution. Then we have the scheduling level. it is responsible for assigning tasks to suitable resources to have highest resource utilization with the minimum make span. And finally, the VMs level, which are virtual machines that are used to execute those tasks. So the task scheduling algorithms have many advantages. We can set, for example, it manages the memory and CPU. The appropriate scheduling algorithms can maximize resources utilization while minimizing the total task execution time. It can improve fairness for all tasks. It can help increasing the number of successfully completed tasks, as well as it helps in scheduling tasks on real-time system and achieving a high system throughput, and it helps improving load balance. We can set some examples. We will see just 4 examples, and it's a brief introduction of those examples. We will see the RR algorithm, or round robin, which is scheduling algorithm where for each task is assigned a fixed time slot and a circle way to be allocated to a particular resource. The second one is shortest job first, organizes tasks in increasing order using their execution times and assigns each task a resource using the RR scheme. And we have 2 other scheduling algorithms, which are min-min and max-min. Min-min algorithm executes small tasks first and delays bigger tasks for last. Max-min algorithm executes bigger tasks first and delays small tasks for last. So this is just a brief introduction of my topic, and thank you for your attention. Thank you. That's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
How do you think this is relevant to this conference?
Well, because it is a multidisciplinary conference, that's why I thought that it will be yes, it will be relevant to this conference, I guess.
It is relevant only because can you sum up in a minute what is the benefit that this offers to the society at large?
Well, as I mentioned, microservices, so I can go back here to this scheme. So here, as I told you before, we have a web page. So it's not only a web page, it can be an application, it can be whatever. So we have a web page, for example. A user wants to have his tasks done very quickly. Sorry. So to have it done really quickly, so we are using microservices. You know, it delays the time. So the execution time of the task, microservices helps on helps on have it quick. So the execution time. So for the society, for a user, for example, he wants to, for example, he wants to buy something. So he doesn't have a quick time. So he doesn't have time for it. So he really wants to buy something to go back to his work, to go back to his life. So microservices can help him to do the task really quick. For example, that's just an example for it.
Okay, that's nice. Can you expand how this is going to help in sustainable development?
Well, the sustainable development, like I said, well, really, I don't know. I don't know, but like I told you, it can help any user. So you know that in the computer science in general, it helps a lot of. It helps humanity, especially in a lot of fields. So I guess microservices and sustainable developments. Well, sorry, I don't have an answer for that. Sorry.
Okay, fine. See, basically, we can reduce the carbon footprint, maybe reduce of, working hours, system hours, man hours or woman hours by effective decision making, by reducing the time required for decision making and delivering of services. We can reduce energy consumption.
Yeah,
They say
exactly.
we can increase the productivity of systems so that better utilization of resources.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we can. That's why we, when we are trying to attend a multidisciplinary conference, we have to also connect to the themes of the conference so that, you become more relevant. So anyway, it was nice presentation. And where you are intending this application to be implemented, any particular domain or application?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question very well.
This microservices, this concept which you have presented, in which application you are planning to implement?
Well, I didn't decide yet which application, so I'm still searching.
Okay. So can you see any applications as of now where these concepts are implemented?
Yeah, of course.
So can you share a few applications?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, right now
Can
I
you
don't
list out some applications where they are being used?
It is used in any website right now. So all the applications are working with microservices. For example, Facebook working with microservices, Instagram working with microservices. Each application it is working with microservices because it is really easy to microservices make application their execution time make it really quick. That's why it is really important to use it. Right now, researchers just want to find how they can make the execution time really less. The deployment is really less than before. That's why.
Yeah, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Any other queries from participants? You can raise your hand so that we can unmute yourself. Or you can unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute from our side. If you have any queries or observations, feedback on this presentation. Or you can use chat box as well. Okay. Okay, then there are no queries as of now. So thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. And thank you also for having me in this international conference. It is really a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, we wish you all the success and look forward for more sessions.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We can close the presentation now, and we'll launch the feedback and complete the presentation and feedback as well.
Okay, sir.
Dear friends, those who want to present, we request everyone to register and complete all the formalities, and you can utilize this conference. Those you can share among your colleagues and friends and encourage them for presentation and participation. So today we are ending the sessions now. So from tomorrow onwards, we will have sessions. As informed, the sessions will be starting at 6 o'clock. And from 6 to 6:30, we will be having a presentation of the previous programs and upcoming programs organized and being organized by Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute, Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. And from 6:30 p.m. onwards, we will be having presentations. And it will go up to 8:30. And it depends on the number of presentations. So we will try to wind up by 8:30. So we request everyone to register for the conference once for all the days, and you can attend on each day. So registration is one-time process for the entire 10 days conference. After completion of the conference, all the certificates will be issued at once in 1 week time. You can visit the website and download your certificates. Also, a link to download your certificate will be emailed to your registered email address. So you can also check your email after completion of conference after 1 week, or you can visit the website and download your certificates. So for all the formalities, rules and regulations, you can check the website. All the instructions have been provided in detail. After filling the overall feedback form, you may leave the platform. Those who are willing to present, you can register at the earliest. And we request you to share this conference information among your colleagues, friends, students, research scholars, and also fellow faculties, so that they can also get benefit out of it. After filling up the overall feedback form, you may leave the platform. See you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Take care. Good night.